Welcome back to Going Corn, season number 3, episode 1. We're going to be previewing.
Give us 3.
This is
3 of them.
This is our
3 full
preview for the
seasons.
season here. Yeah, it's exciting. We're gonna recap kind of the owners meeting, the board meeting, and do some way early mock draft. Since we haven't done the draft, that's a new thing this year. We haven't. Usually by this time we've done the draft. Now let me introduce the Pumbaa to my Timon, Caleb Youngman.
It's exotic. I like it. Starting out the new year with a little bit of flair.
A little Lion King action for you. So how's the off season treating you, Mr. Youngman?
I'm getting fat.
That's for
Done
sure.
Shit.
We got Buzik on the track for that though. Secret weapon.
My plugs, David Buzik. You need to get in shape, you need to get jacked, you know who to go to. Dave is the man.
Oh,
The man with a plan. Nutrition. He'll tell you about Ezekiel bread.
Ezekiel bread.
Ezekiel bread's going to be a lifesaver for me.
Yeah.
Telling you.
Yeah.
Believe
Low
in the
carbs,
bread.
right?
Believe in the Bible bread.
Believe in
Ezekiel
the bread. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, that's good to hear. Good to hear. It was good to see everyone last few weeks. We got the owners meeting, like I said, down, and the board meeting in there too. Overall thoughts on kind of what's happening this off season?
Yeah, the casino went really well.
Yeah.
The Leroy, the board meeting turned into poker night, which I conveniently went and took everyone's money, the entire board. I said thanks. Greg, you were included in that. And then we ended up going to the shoe, where we all walked away up.
Not the shoe, the lesser.
Oh,
place,
the Majestic Star.
Majestic, yeah.
Right.
It's not so majestic, but
It was pretty majestic for our pockets.
Yeah, totally.
No,
Anyway,
it's been a good off season. We were kind of toying around with making big expansions, little expansions.
A lot of sick people in the owners meeting, that's for sure. A lot of last second sickness going on. So
we had a lot
bad
of people.
bad time of year, but I think it went well. We got the draft order all set up and ready to go, and kind of figured out the schedule. So we're gonna do. That was the major thing. We're gonna do Wednesdays, but there's gonna be 1 week of Monday, Thursday.
1 week.
And then
You were a fan of that style, weren't you?
Let's not talk about this. But we also have to build a 6th field, which will give us a few more weeks to do that. So that'll be about the middle of the season. We'll start doing that. So, yeah, that's some big new stuff that we're trying to work on. Hopefully we'll get our butts in gear soon when it stops snowing outside. It's a blizzard today outside, but we still
I was
taken
slipping
down
on the
any
ice
stuff.
coming out of the
Yeah,
Quest.
it was
We had
terrible.
dinner at the Quest tonight.
Lovely place.
It was a good
Lovely
spot.
owner.
We filled out a questionnaire.
She bamboozled us with the questionnaires. So that was
I didn't really know what was going on there.
No. So back to wiffle ball for a second, I guess.
Wait, that's what this podcast is about?
I know, right?
Oh, okay.
It's hard to know.
All right.
Yeah, and then owners meeting. That was kind of it. We talked about a couple new. We really didn't get many new rules though between the board meeting.
No, we
talked about
cleaned up
things.
some of the gray area for some rules, and we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
So
Well, why don't you jump into it? I mean,
just go in, yeah.
yeah,
So
because I think we've kind of covered most of the stuff. So.
yeah, I think the big gripes kind of from owners and I mean the league in general, there are a few ones that stuck out that we talked about in the board. The pitch to hit rule, I mean and we talked about it. It's hard to regulate it just because of how loosely you can define pitch to hit, if that makes sense, but we came to a few conclusions of things that we could clean up that we know for sure is going to be able to make it at least a little bit easier to tell. There are going to be no knuckleballs at all thrown once you get to the pitch to hit count, because you can really do some nasty stuff off the pitch to hit with the knuckleball.
Yeah, and the main thing is it's just we want people to know, and I mean it'll be on owners and other players this year more so than ever to call out what if it's not a pitch to hit, if you think that that's not a pitch to hit, you need to call it and just say, hey, that's not pitch to hit. That,
Right.
you're trying to. It's even if it is one of those sliders or a curveball or something. We talked about that a lot, like making it a one specific way you have to throw it, but we kind of held off against that just because of if the weather plays a factor,
Right.
some stuff like that. But
Right.
that was kind of the main thing. I think we ended up. There's not a lot of other rules that.
Well, the running one.
Oh yeah, did we really hash that out? I figured.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, did we? Okay.
We came to a conclusion on it. Well, there were one other one before that is when we pitch, and this is kind of minor. You can only have one ball in your hand when you're pitching, so you can't have multiple balls in the hand. Like to that's kind of to slow down the rapid pitch. But so the new running rules are this: when the pitcher has the ball in the zone, the ball
Play
is dead.
Dead. Yes. Play is over.
100% dead.
Yes.
Now, if the person, we're going to have halfway points that we're going to be able to mark.
we're gonna, because that's not we kind of figured that's not a big expense, and with money coming in now,
Right.
that's a minor thing. So yes, we will have half point between all the bases that you'll be running to.
Yep. Exactly. So, and if the pitcher has the ball in the zone and does nothing else with it and holds on to it, if you're not halfway, you have to go back. If you're halfway, you get to advance to that next base. The rule that's different now for this year is that if the pitcher decides to make an attempted throw at somebody running, whether inside the circle or outside of the circle, the ball is live and you can continue to advance until the pitcher has it in the middle of the zone again. We kind of took this rule out because last year getting the free throw, it just encourages bad wiffle ball. You shouldn't be able to have a free throw at somebody just because. So,
well, it caused a lot of people to be kind of confused and upset during games because, it'd be like, oh, wait, I was halfway, or no, that should be a free. That's not the free throw. That is the free throw.
right.
All this stuff, because especially if you're throwing towards second,
Yeah.
that was always the main thing, because if the dude just threw it away and it was in center field, why wouldn't you be able to run with that? So,
Right.
I think it kind of balances it out a little bit more and makes that. Yeah, I forgot about that rule, but
Yeah.
that was a big kind of controversial thing from
Last year.
So.
Definitely. So that in and of itself will play a big role in it, and is going to be a difference this year. So before we get to the break, we get into the part you guys really want to hear about, which is our idea of the mock draft. We've, unlike previous years, actually have some dates for you.
Oh yeah.
That are actually confirmed. So we kind of thought process behind that is everyone's always complained that they've gotten this information too late, and that we haven't been able to get people to come to events. So because of that, we have finalized as a board 3 dates for the year that we need you to mark on your calendar. One for the bowling event, one for the Indiana Wiffle Classic, our tournament, and one for the golf outing. Bowling event, April 20. Now, little something special with this one this year. This is going to be a dual draft between Leroy and the Griffle Ball League.
To be determined on that, actually.
Oh, really?
Just because of the dates working out, because their season starts like that next week.
Oh.
So we still have to.
Oh,
the
interesting.
date for us is still going to be the same.
Okay.
Because I think for us that's like we have to set that in stone and get that done.
Right.
But we'll see if there's any way we can help out Griffle Ball if they can't be done on that day. But,
so pending with the GBO.
Yeah.
But ours is going to be April 20. So bowling event on top of the draft will be April 20.
And can I plug them for while we're talking about that draft and everything with them? I'm going to kind of plug them real quick. Just saying, if you're interested in playing, get a hold of any of those guys. They're doing a complete redraft as well. They're going to have salaries and everything, so it should be a lot more competitive and all that stuff, and they could always use more players to kind of balance out their games. So
Hashtag
anyway.
20 for gags.
Yeah, funny.
So, it's going to be same style as we've had at bowling draft. Although this year we may add food. So we may cater. We may get
Because that's feedback I heard from a few people, including like adults, like my mother and like some other people said they'd be willing to pay a little bit extra, or they feel like more value if they're get some food in there too.
Right.
So
Right.
we'll have to look into it, and that's one kind of hope for it. So the next is the
Wiffle Classic. Yep. So the bowling event's the 20th, April 20. The Wiffle Classic's going to be at the beginning of the summer versus the end of the summer like it was last year. It's going to be May 18. May 18.
So pretty much right after we start. It's the week after we'll be starting pretty much.
Yep.
I think, right?
Yep. We'll be the tournament.
We'll be the tournament, so we can get people in there and try and out new things, and hopefully it'll be nice weather this year.
Yep.
So
yeah.
For those of you that came last year, it was a fun time. We're gonna try and tweak a few things again.
Yep.
Try and make it a little more streamlined. Maybe not go as long into the day. So.
Yep.
But yeah. So that's the date for that.
Yep. And then the golf outing, traditional time again at the end of August, is going to be August 10. So bowling event, April 20, Wiffle Classic, May 18, golf outing, August 10. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. We're going to do a mock draft for the first few rounds at least. And we're going to have some sleeper picks. And we're just going to give you our thoughts on the draft order. So.
You betcha. See you on the other side. And we're back. So now we're going to get into the little bit of a mock draft. So we're not going to do the full thing just because I think last year I had a lot of issues with this. I know. And I know Caleb is just he's upset at me because we don't do a full thing now this year. But I had problems with the salaries, and then people are like, so anyway, to hopefully get less complaints on this show, there's always plenty.
What did people say to you again?
It sounded like Charlie Brown to me, so
wah, 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 wah,
pretty
wah.
much.
Wah,
So
wah, wah, wah.
recapping the draft order. So we did the draft order at Bridges Scoreboard.
Bridges Scoreboard and Grill, official sponsor of the GBL Fat Cats.
Yeah. I believe there's a lot of collusion in the way the draft balls were picked. So
why? The fact that you had the most balls in there and that you finished 10th?
Yeah, that's some nonsense. Anyway, so the first pick is going to be Jackson Bazia and the Clay Street Crocs. And then we got Jim Tucker and the Barnstormers at number 2. Number 3, somehow, Rich get richer again here. Somehow, Sheriff pulls the third
I don't know
pick.
why everyone thinks this is good. He's screwed.
He'll have 2 top players again.
He's not going to pick Wesley.
Just saying. I know. Well,
whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, moving along, number 4 pick is Jordan Moselle. Number 5 is the Scrapping Turtles, run by Matt Dykstra.
I love turtles.
So then number 6 is Quinn, right? And
the Vultures,
the
sponsored by
Valiant
New Oberfalls Brewing.
Vultures. Number 7 is the Bashers. So this might come up later, but this is not a new owner, not a new team. So no no special consideration for saying who's the best new owner.
Will he take John?
Number 8 is going to be Brett Detmar and the Bombers yet again.
The Jaeger Corn Bombers.
9 is the Maniacs. Kevin Vroog making an appearance back.
I'm really disappointed, Kev. You could do better than that.
The Marvelous Well, the problem is the marketing team for Leroy is very stingy.
What marketing team? That is a fake
marketing.
That is a
board.
fake affinity. That's a fake group. That is think tank. That's what it is.
Yeah, 3 board members, one of which says, "I don't know why I'm even on this board right now."
Don't even get me started.
Anyway, 10 is me and the Narwhals.
Death bracket.
11 is Caleb. And 12 is the Sluggers.
Your 2018 champion, Lake County Liners.
Don't care. Anyway, so we're going to start off with the very first pick of the draft. I think me and Caleb both have the same pick because Jackson has adamantly said he's picking this guy first. So
the cat is out of the bag. I repeat, the cat is out of the bag.
So if he's not talked to this guy, though, that'd be the only downfall. So I believe me and Caleb both have Josh Schmitz being the number 1 overall pick.
Wonderful.
Is that true? Did I get
Yes,
that right?
Josh
Okay.
is going to be the number 1 pick. Moving on.
Okay, number 2 overall pick. Okay,
Which
so
is
it's
also-
funny because the first 2 picks, like these 2 owners, which happen to be, well, one says he's not a GBL guy, one says he is a Leroy guy through and through, and that's Jackson.
Okay.
Your former Narwhal. Anyway, number 2 is the Barnstormers with Jim Tucker. I believe they're going to be taking Ryan Vogus.
Considering Ryan already has Barnstormers memorabilia and gear,
He
I would
already
say he
has
is a
his own
Barnstormer,
jersey, so
that one's easy.
All right, number 3. This is where we're starting to see some possible different
Controversy,
things.
right?
But he has a couple good choices here for good players. He's going to need someone with that long wait till his next pick for the second round. I have Marty.
I have Marty as well.
Okay, well, Marty is a former owner from last year. Ran us some kind of bad luck, I think the Dusters did. Yeah, he tried, but he just ran into a lot of bad luck at times, And
He took Al Friedman with his first round pick.
yeah, that didn't help. That didn't start off the train chugging.
No,
but
love Al, but Al
he drafted Al, drafted
drastically underperformed. last
Griffin
year.
Smith? Didn't he draft him? Or was
Yeah, I
it
think
Jeremy
that,
Ross or one of
yeah,
those?
It was.
So it was, yeah, that was a tough go for Marty. But being a player again, sure he'll be focused on just that and maybe have another good year. So Marty there at number 3 for both of us.
And Marty's just reliable. I think that's
yeah.
what Jared values that. So I mean, you could argue Alec in that spot, but I mean, I don't think Jared trusts him like he trusts
Yeah.
Marty. So
Yeah, Marty's played for him before.
yeah,
He was a rookie on the Badgers.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see that happening, especially at number 3. We all know Marty. We love him, and he's a great player. Number 4 though, I have the guy you just mentioned, Alec. I mean, those are
these
two
are supposed to be controversial picks.
Did you have that?
Yeah,
too?
I had
Oh,
Alec too.
Well, I think the top of the draft this year, it kind of seems like this every year. It's a lot of the same people. But okay, well, the first 2 were
No.
kind of gimmies because of the
Yeah.
way. Well, okay, but 2 years ago, we both had Matt or Jack,
Right.
or Matt or Sitter.
Yeah.
I think right, going first, second,
Yeah.
and that's what they did. So I mean,
I think
it's-
Jordan's issue is that he can never find a consistent number 1. And if Alec doesn't get hurt or barring any other
work might be the thing for him.
for Alec, I have no idea,
Yeah.
but Alec's a consistent player and Jordan
Yeah, he
needs some
is.
consistent. I mean, he didn't have that in John, so
Yeah, that's gonna be. I don't know if John gets drafted in the first round at least, but we'll see.
don't
We'll
know.
we'll figure out the.
if
Rest
someone's
here.
willing to take a risk or not.
Yeah.
So
Number 5 is the Scrappin' Turtles. Now this might be our first different pick.
okay,
I have Robbie going to the
Interesting.
Turtles
Yeah.
with Matt.
it's not a bad pick. Yeah, I had Garrett.
Yeah, both pretty high end players.
Yeah.
I think Robbie and him already have a good friendship, so I think he could easily get Robbie there majority of the time. You're always going to get a couple weeks from Robbie
Yeah.
that are off.
And I think that's why he goes Garrett. I think he got
Yeah.
screwed last year with not having his team, and so he wants to have somebody he knows consistently
yeah,
will be there week to week. So I that's why I went Garrett. But
yeah. I mean, Garrett was, kind of probably one of the biggest surprises out of
yeah,
last year's draft.
he was. Well, he learned how to pitch. So
Yeah, and there was a lot of rumors saying like he couldn't, his arm was bad and stuff like that. So
yeah.
so I think a few people passed on him, but so number 6 is, let's go with your pick.
I had Jack
Jack.
for Quinn. I think Quinn has seen Jack kill him a few times, and I think Jack has a resurgence this year. Last year he underperformed
Yep.
immensely, and I think Quinn takes a gamble here and goes for it.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad gamble because the thing is, Jack's going to be pretty consistent.
Right.
He's not missed a whole lot of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He missed just a couple games after almost what we thought was a broken ankle
Right.
2 years ago. So
That was disastrous.
Yeah.
On the berm.
that was bad. But I have Garrett here. So
Okay.
yeah, a lot of my top players staying kind of high here. So
Yep.
That's a lot of talent going off the board. Garrett, yeah, he figured it out. He figured out how to pitch.
Right.
That's hard to hit. He throws really hard, and he throws that,
Yeah.
kind of under, riser. So kind of sidearm. So yeah, and then next up is the big unit bashers.
Bub, as I affectionately call them. Hey, Bub. Hey,
With
Bub.
Grant Reinhout back at the ownership helm. I think he goes Vince Carullo here.
Interesting. Oh, that's an interesting
Big
pick.
salary, but I think Vince is definitely committed. I think he does have talent. We'll see if the 51 is a indicator.
Yeah.
The 4 games he played, he showed a lot of talent. So
Yeah.
I think he could do it. Likelihood, it's a full season of Leroy.
Yeah.
We've seen it with a lot of players,
Right.
time and time again. So
Right.
but I think he could. I just think that's a Grant move to take the big salary guy.
Yeah.
That might have some risk. So
Yeah. I have Colin Lautenbach going here to Grant.
Interesting.
I think Colin poses a lot of upside with his bat that Grant's definitely going to need in the lineup. They're going to give up runs, so they're going to need to have run support.
Yep.
And I think Colin also showed towards the end of last year he can be a low 1, one of the higher 2s from a pitching perspective. So I think he poses a lot of upside, and he'll be there week in, week out for Grant. So he's not a risk. He doesn't have the most upside of that pick, but I think he's the safest bet for Grant there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Grant needs to do is draft safe.
Yeah, I think that's what he needs to do, but time and time again he
chooses
us.
not to.
Yeah.
Right. So time will tell what Grant decides to do and who's available. So moving on to Brett at the number 8 spot with the Corn Bombers. Who do you have Brett taking?
I have Colin. Just because
year after year, it's what he does.
It's what he does. When Eric was on the board, he's drafting Eric.
Right.
Who did he draft last year?
Yep.
So it's just like he's going to stick with his guys that he knows, and that's what I'm saying. But I could see what you were saying with Grant there and him being kind of taken up at that spot.
Yep.
Colin has a lot of value, so I could see him going
Into
higher than 8. I mean, it would be kind of amazing, but it's just with Tuck we kind of know where Tuck's going, and
Right.
Jackson not having that salary flexibility.
Yep.
That's where I could see him kind of falling down.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I have Brett taking Robbie with how it would shake out in this spot.
Yeah, that would be a scary team.
With him with the 1-2.
Those
Oh
two,
yeah,
yeah.
that'd be the best 1-2 in the league if Robbie
Yeah.
falls to Brett. I don't think he will. I mean, this is me valuing the draft with
Mhm.
attendance, and with Robbie being a little bit inconsistent, I could see
Yep.
Robbie falling that far.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's where it would be if this was correct on my part. So
Yeah, so number 9 then, who do you have there? This is
for Kevin, the Marvelous Maniacs. I have John Enningenberg.
Yep.
Had a breakout year last year.
A lot of question marks going into last year with if he was going to show up, if he was going to play.
Right.
He definitely proved himself, so that's a good first-round pick.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think again, you talk about potential. He's got one of the higher ceilings.
Yeah, yep.
In the league, he can still pitch
he could
better.
be a pretty good one.
Yep.
For a team.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And for Kevin, I think if he slots in, they could be, pretty well together there. I like that pick.
Yeah.
I have Jack here.
Okay.
Just because those two, again, the friendship factor, Jack's going to be consistent, all the stuff we kind of talked about earlier.
Right.
With, and possibility of the upside. So.
Yep.
Number 10, I'm not touching with a 10-foot pole, so you can go
The
ahead.
Noble Narwhals, huh? Interesting. If the draft goes the way it would be, I would have you falling here with Vince Carullo.
Yeah, falling here at 10. Yeah,
Falling here to 10.
Yeah.
With Vince Carullo.
Okay.
You have the salary. It's worth the risk, and you can still pick up 2 really, really good players on the back end with it. So, not that I think he would take him if it was there, but if he wasn't there, and that there wouldn't be other options, but I think there's a possibility for it. So
Well, I got all the money in the world, and then everybody's off the board by that time, so why not?
why not?
Sure,
Go
right?
ahead.
But I know I do like Vince. He played on my team for a couple games. I got that trade.
In the
to-
Wiffle Classic, right?
Well, no, and the regular season, too.
Oh, that's right.
I got 2 very important wins.
Who ended up knocking you out in the Wiffle Classic? Oh,
Anyway,
yeah. All right.
number 11 is the Liners. Again, not a whole lot of salary, not a whole lot to do. I think I see a little family collusion coming in with Tim Wiltshire at number 11.
No
I mean,
comment.
Tim, we know Tim can play better than he is. I think not being an owner for the first time in a couple years will really help him just focus on, the few things he needs to. And I think he's starting to kind of lean back and let more people do stuff. This offseason, he's just kind of been like, well, if none of you want to do anything, forget it. So I think that he's more kind of laid back, but that'll help him in the long run.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. If he's on the board, he's definitely an option. For me, I have slated in the 11th spot. I have Arthur Reed. So
okay. Yeah, knew something like that was coming out of your mouth.
so yeah, if Arthur's in that spot, I think he's
All
got
right.
some massive upside.
Eric, who's Eric gonna take with the last
Come on.
pick?
Hey,
of the
you're not
first
letting me give
round?
my analysis of Arthur Reed.
My last pick.
And then with the pick that I have early in the second round, I may take Binky Barnes. So, all right.
Anyway,
Eric.
so I have Eric taking John Eberg.
Okay.
John Eberg. So
Okay. I had Kyle Schaff.
yeah,
Especially with
yeah.
back-to-back picks, you know that B-Trav will be on the board at that point. So
Yeah,
you can go Kyle Schaff.
yeah,
and
that's
Brian
another one.
Travis.
That's another guy that I'm very sure that will happen
You go to Eric.
unless somebody takes B-Trav as a shock kind of first round.
Yeah.
There's so much talent. It's so hard to tell this year more than others.
Yeah. Who's going
First.
to be right?
Top second round.
Yeah, it is.
But let's talk about just some maybe good picks for the second round then. So we're talking about these, $30 players.
Right.
So I'm looking at like Joffrey. That's one pick.
Yeah.
I think
that
if
could
he's not gone the first couple picks of the second round,
I'd be surprised. Yeah.
yeah, I think somebody's going to get a good steal. He showed a lot of upside. He's a, former baseball player.
Right.
I think he played in college for a couple years.
Yeah.
So he's definitely one guy to look at.
Yep. I mean, I think this year James Hayworth moves into a top tier second round pick.
Yeah.
Just from what he gives you with a lefty arm, a different look. He knows his role. He'll get on base, especially if you have a slugger in front of him or behind him. Fields the ball well. I think another person that may potentially be getting overlooked is Kyle Gagliardi as well. Gags has the ability to hit for power. He throws strikes, which you need out of a number 2
Yep.
or even number 3.
He throws pretty good too.
Yeah, he's got
Throws-
decent velocity.
yeah.
So I think that could be an option. Lucas Miedema at $30 too. I mean, if he plays to his potential.
He's definitely breakout candidate again, because we were looking at him in like top. He was the second overall pick last year. So,
Yes, he was.
So yeah, that was definitely a surprise when he was just very underperformed.
Right.
We'll see how the wedding, the possible wedding, and all that stuff.
Right.
Congratulations to him on getting that. But yeah, I look at there's so much talent from the first round that could be left over in here. The guy we mentioned earlier in the show, Dave Buzik, could be. He is a good.
He can hit.
He can hit.
He can hit.
Okay, and he's been around the. He's been around the wiffle ball scene. Okay, so. He's hometown guy.
Yep.
He's.
Yep.
One
other person I think that could really sneak in is John Monco.
Someone's taking this serious and someone isn't. Great.
I am
Story
taking
of my life.
I am taking it seriously. What's not to like about John
Anyway,
Monco? Maybe he'll take his rabbit.
Speaking of his best friend, Austin Warner, you think
oh Lord,
where's Warner going?
I don't know.
Third round?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Last pick of the draft?
He's oh wow. No, there's one spot reserved for that.
Oh, no.
We all know who that's going to. Warner.
Yeah.
Warner. When Warner throws strikes, he's a second round pick. But if he's going to be in Honduras for a good 3 weeks of the season, you don't. What are you supposed to do?
Well, yeah, the Hawaiians were a short-lived experiment there. So
Lord, don't even get me started. Cam Varlon.
Yeah, so third round value. There's a lot of players here. Not a lot of. Luke Prince is. If anyone
Alex
takes
Friedman.
him, if anyone takes Luke Prince, I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
But Warner is someone I like. I'm looking at this list. $20 players.
Yeah.
I like Kyle Zeidema.
Yeah,
I
not
do.
bad.
He played well in the playoffs for the Bombers.
Yep.
I think that he can kind of hopefully have a better year, maybe hit a little bit better. And I think that's a good third round pick, good value for what he's got.
Right.
Looking at your lower players, Rob could always be a good
Option.
if you're tight on salary.
Right.
There's no single digit players here in this available to draft list.
Well, there could be. Except that would be a little uncomfortable if you're catching my drift.
No, she's not able to be drafted.
Oh,
No, she didn't play last year.
that's right.
This is the whole.
The Clams
yeah.
remember that. That's
The
for sure.
lowest salary player on the draft list is Micah Hescott at $18.68.
Yeah, he was
And then
good
Matt.
until he had to pick up a shift at the fireworks store. So then that really went downhill from there.
So,
Although he's been in the weight room.
yeah. Well, we know Micah's got ripped. I mean, he's a ripped guy. Yeah. Chandler Kimmel down there. Barney Rubble, as you mentioned.
Barney Rubble. Goodness. Barney the dinosaur. Single-handedly responsible for the Badgers' playoff demise. Thank you, Barn. Appreciate you.
So, anyway,
Is it time to reach our hand into the question bag?
I think it is. The question bag is plentiful. I'm going to start off with one from our own Jim Tucker. He asked, let me just pull up. I don't want to get anything wrong.
Power rank the
Considering
team.
owner,
Oh,
no, I want to start off with this
you
one.
want to do the other one?
Consider owner salary. Which owner has the best draft position for their team? Is it the number one overall pick in Jackson, or for someone who got the pick towards the middle of the draft? And I think that goes well with just what we were talking. We were just talking about the draft here.
Yeah.
I think higher salary players, it is better for them to have a lower pick.
Yep.
Okay, so like Caleb got a really low pick. So I think that he's in a way better position than Jackson. Jackson is going to have to draft a low salary guy and then wait it out and then hopefully get someone good at the end of the second round.
Right.
So it's just going to be a long wait and a lot of talent coming off the board. So
Right.
um
Yeah, I mean, my top three, Eric, I think, got a great pick at 12, getting back-to-back picks there in the first and second round. I really like Matt's pick at 5. I think that helps him. He's in kind of that middle range. And Brett's pick at 8, too, is a good spot for him. So between those three, I think they really are in a nice position to be able to do something effective from there. So power rank the team names.
Power rank the team names. Well, number one is obviously Noble Narwhals.
No, I think it's the Scrappin' Turtles.
No,
The Scrappin' Turtles.
absolutely.
Yes,
not.
it is. So I'll give my top 3.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Scrappin' Turtles, Lake County Liners, and the 3 being
A lot of hope cooking here.
probably the Corn Bombers.
I'd have to say, in no particular order, the Barnstormers, the Valiant Vultures, and the Noble Narwhals. those are my picks for top team names. So I do like the Barnstormer. I love their logo too. It's very good. So, next question, from Eric. What this is kind of a comical one because I'm not even going to get into this. Early playoff predictions. No, Eric, we're not doing early playoff predictions
Liners and 2.
when there's no teams.
Liners and 2.
Okay, then. Well, we know who's sucking his own, Wang. So, anyway.
I don't
Grant
win it. There's no
asks,
way I win it this year.
which new owner will be the best? Grant, as we discussed earlier, you are not a new owner, so therefore you cannot be the best. So, we're talking Quinn.
So
and
Quinn wins by
Tucker.
default.
No,
So Quinn or Jim?
Tuck, and Jackson. I think
Jim. It'll be Jim.
yeah, we're talking performance or overall team.
Overall team.
Yeah,
It'll be
I think.
Jackson.
Well, no, so like
I mean, it's Jim.
yeah,
Jim.
yeah.
Jim would be the best.
Overall team probably Tuck because he's the coach guy.
Mm-hmm.
And if he gets Vogus and Vogus performs better than he did last year, which he says we are all fools for not taking him number one because he's going to have a $50 salary this year. So, well, we'll see if that is. But so, yeah, I'd say Tuck as well. But Jackson is my guy. I think he has the best performance out of any new owner and individual performance. Moselle, the egg, asks, who's your favorite franchise? Well, we know it's not the Badgers.
It's the Leroy Truckers. They've handed
That's-
me a good 8 or 9 wins in the past 3 years by multiple runs to help my differential. So, big thank you to the Truckers.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Favorite franchise?
The Liners, right? I heard you say that before the
No,
show.
absolutely not. They were my most hated ever.
Oh, okay.
Right next to, probably right next to those Truckers. you know. Yeah, they're pretty
Interesting.
terrible.
Who's your favorite franchise?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's not the Badgers. It's not the Sliders. Clay Street Crocs. There we
You're
go.
such a whore.
Yeah,
you
says
are.
the guy who has mentioned his own team
You are.
30 times tonight. Anyway, who's the most valuable player available to be drafted?
Alec
from
Gerlach.
Pitt? The most valuable.
Alec Gerlach.
I would say Garrett. So,
Alec.
all right, those are our picks there.
There's a few more in the
yeah,
owner's
there's a
chat.
couple.
Hold on.
Top beer customer this year.
No, it's in the board. Yeah. Will the board have as good of luck at the Majestic on our next group run? If you show up, Matt, yes.
Absolutely not.
Yes, we will. Shut up.
Caleb's losing at least.
You're so
500 next
negative
time.
all the time.
I am
all
just with you.
The time.
Biggest concern of 2019.
Having a season.
Will the season be completed?
What are you looking forward to in 2019?
All these are from the sheriff.
Having more than 16 people come to the Indiana Wiffle Classic.
Yes, I'm looking forward
at
to
the
that.
entire league.
Yeah.
Where will Tim fall in the draft? Badgers or Turtles? Neither. Mock draft ?
We already did it.
Listen for about 10 minutes earlier. Top beer customer this year? No one, because we're not selling any.
I thought we discussed. Never mind. That'll be a later discussion. Off.
Off the
Air.
air. Okay. I think that does it.
I think that's it. Right? No more questions.
No more questions.
If we do, I don't care. Sorry if we didn't answer them, but not sorry. So, have a good time. Have a great new year. We'll see you probably in I'd say maybe another month or two before we get another show.
Probably
out.
another month.
Not a lot of content coming out right now from the league, so.
Not a lot of anything coming
Yeah.
out from the league.
Well, it's just that time, there's not a lot going on right now. We're just setting up draft and some other
Meanwhile,
dates.
GBL's national team has practice tomorrow.
Practice. Talking about practice.
I'll be there doing my plyo work.
So be sure to keep up to date with our Twitter at Going Corn, LWA.
Have
And,
you posted on that in a year?
Nope.
Okay,
It's been a while.
so don't plug it.
Yes.
Clown.
You got to follow it. So
Oh,
you
my
know.
Lord. Here we
Turn
go.
on the bell.
Here we go. Jeez.
Ring that bell so you know when it's going to happen. You want the notifications as soon as these shows come out. They are epic. They are wonderful. We got some great stuff coming for season 3. Maybe some more guests. We have Skype sort of figured out, so maybe we can get some international guests. So
Be on the lookout. We may have a Hank Youngman maybe making an appearance at some point this year.
Please no.
Hank the
Angry
Tank.
man yells at cloud.
Hank the Tank.
Anyway, so
We'll
that's
get
gonna
him
do
on
it from
Barstool.
me and Caleb. This has been Going Corn. Until next time.
See ya.